Hi everyone, this is Sky, and I'm coming on today to speak briefly about the new moon in Virgo that we are having on September 17th. It is either going to be on the 16th or the 17th of September, depending on your time zone. But yes, I wanted to come on and speak about this. I don't usually speak about every single new and full moon, but whenever I think that they're going to be significant, I try to always come on and speak about them. And I was just feeling very energized and very intrigued by the transits that are coming in at the time of this new moon. So I think that this new moon is really going to mark the transition phase between having the triple retrograde conjunction in Capricorn and all of that moving direct. I've made a video about that called The Last Moments, which was a really fun video and really illuminated some of the deeper feelings that I was having about that very rare transit. So I'll link that below as well as in the top right hand corner. But yeah, we probably won't really feel the direct energy of this Capricorn stellium until we go through this new moon in Virgo, because the new moon in Virgo is going to finally really pin some things up sort of on our vision board, or it's going to kind of really put a goal into action. No longer are we going to be so abstract. No longer are we going to be so non-physical with what we are wanting in our lives. I feel that the new moon in Virgo is a catalyst, and it makes us want to become very direct with what we're doing. We're not really going to want to beat around the bush. We're not really going to want to play around or tease ourselves or other people with what could potentially be. It feels to me that yes, we are going to, with the direct motion of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto by October 6th, with them all being direct, the new moon in Virgo catalyzing the transition of them moving retrograde to direct, we are really wanting progress. We are really wanting to understand the mature solution to certain quite difficult situations. And there's really no other time like this transit of new moon in Virgo around September 17th, and it's good. It's kind of close to the cusp because this is happening at 24 degrees Virgo. The sun is at 24 degrees and the moon obviously at 24 degrees as well. That's what creates a new moon, is when the sun and moon are exactly conjunct. So it goes new at a very late portion of Virgo energy. So maybe we have a very new way of looking at a status quo. Maybe we have a very new way of going about an old process, okay? Late degrees of Virgo is about mature management of daily affairs, mature management of mundane experiences, also very mature health energy too, like knowing what we can and cannot eat, knowing what we should and should not be putting into the body, knowing that yes, we could, stay up all night doing this or that, but even though that sounds fun and it seems nice, it's not going to really allow us to accomplish these long-term goals that we are assigning ourselves. So what we are assigning ourselves becomes very front and center at the start of this new moon. And it really is incredible, the changes that we can see catalyzed by this. And why is that the case? Firstly, it is just because this new moon is very late in degree of Virgo, so it's coming near the cusp of Libra. So it's evolutionary. Whenever a sign is at late degrees in its late third decan, this means that the sign is about to change. The sign is about to evolve. It's about to go up to its next level. And the Virgo Libra cusp is all about going from discernment to decision making. So what that means is that we are kind of moving out of a discerning phase, and there might be plenty of things that some of us still need to discern, but we are really going to now be in decision making mode after this new moon. So around the time of when the sun moves into Libra, around September 21st, be sure to hit the subscribe button below, because I'm going to be doing a video about Libra season altogether, and turn those bell notifications on so you can be notified when it comes out, because it's going to be, I think, a very hard-hitting video, because Libra season is probably going to be the most empowered time of this year. It's probably going to be one of the most consequential times of this year, as it is the other cardinal sign. But anyway, I digress. Back to the point. What I think is that we have time to discern right now. With the new moon in Virgo, we might really get a great ability to discern, a great ability to understand what our priorities are now, not our priorities from 5 years ago, not our priorities from 2 years ago. We're also in Year of the Rat, which is the energy of one, which means that this entire year, since around the time of February, of 2020, we have actually completely maybe changed our outlook on something, or we might have actually invited brand new goals or brand new experiences in. And now we need to understand that things perhaps have changed. Okay. So for those of us who have been committing to the status quo of our life, for those of us who have been keeping it all contextual, as has been very rewarding with the triple Capricorn conjunction, now that might start to evolve, okay? I don't feel that we're just walking away from things. I don't feel that we're just throwing things away or giving up or stopping, but I do feel that things take on a different tone, that there's a new theme for certain projects, or there's a new way of going about certain projects that not only is more rewarding, but more aligned with the actual long-term capacity of us, of our own being. So we're going to be looking in a new way at our capacity, I think, with this new moon. We're going to be looking in a new way at what the proof in the pudding is, basically, like what our reality is versus what we've wanted, and why is there a split there? You know, why is there a detraction or something not matching up? Like for example, you've always wanted to completely solve your money problems or whatever. You've always wanted to, get that incredible promotion and find a job that does not feel like a job, but that is creative and enjoyable and also provides well for you. You can kind of start to take that and sort of dissect it a little bit and think, okay, good job, something that I enjoy, something that doesn't feel like I'm just, throwing my time away just to pay the bills. And then you can kind of look at your physical reality and you can say, okay, I'm in this house. I'm going about my life in this way. Aha, okay, I'm actually getting out of bed in the morning and making myself do that in a way that is not kind. And I'm actually kind of like speaking to myself or treating myself as if I'm inanimate, or as if I'm just here to pay bills in life, or as if I'm just here to maintain these things. And I can maybe now realize and draw the dots between why my job is not something that I enjoy, because I'm talking to myself and moving through my own life in a way that is not free, okay? It's not liberating. So maybe there's a manifestation of a very non-liberating career as well. So this is important to sort of add up and understand why we are where we are, because we have a great opportunity to make very small, subtle, mundane changes with this moon. And as we make these small, subtle, mundane changes, it's pretty incredible to see the new doors that do start opening, and the more time that we start to receive as well. This is fascinating. As Capricorn is the ruler of time, and the other two earth signs, Virgo and Taurus, to a lesser degree are as well. How we physically experience time, the aging process, things like that, the management of time, especially on Virgo's side. So I think the more that we come into alignment with what we want, and as we start to actually give it to ourselves, we start not being mean to ourselves when we're waking up in the morning. Like, we're not thinking, okay, you've got to get out of bed. You've got bills to pay. You've got a life to lead. You've got a family to support. You've got a retirement fund to build up. No one's going to help you. No one's going to do this for you. You have to do this for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to fail. Otherwise, you're going to sink. Otherwise, you're going to be homeless. These types of dialogues. And this is intense. Okay, these are hard. I think that everybody is struggling with this to some degree. Like, I either have to do this or I have to lose everything. And this dialogue changes. And as we wake up and we change that from, so instead of thinking, okay, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose what I have. If I don't do this, I'm not going to be able to pay bills. If I don't stay in this marriage, I'm not going to be able to have any standing, or nobody's going to respect me. People are going to think that I'm not able to commit to something, or not able to stay in something. We kind of change that here to, actually, I have the ability to do better. I have the ability to enjoy getting out of bed and know that I am pushing for a new height in my life. It no longer is it I can't do this. It's more of like an I can attitude. And that might sound a little bit cliche, but it does feel that we just really start to look at things with a new tone, or we start to really look at things with a new theme. And whereas, yes, maybe we can't just quit that job right now and fly off to some foreign country and just, have some kind of like fictional experience. No, that's not indicated right now, that we just fictionally get pulled out of our reality and things go happily ever after. It's a process. This is a phase. This is a transitional phase of time, not like we've talked about before. I've talked a lot about transitional phases or a time of transition in my public readings and working privately with people. This is different. This isn't like a transitional energy. This is more of a change in the way that we experience time. So it's transitional, but I want to just really distinguish between it's because the Capricorn energy is very solid. All the earth energies, and we have a lot of them, are very solid. They're not super changing. This is a transitional phase in the sense that it takes us from one level of thinking and one level of convincing of how reality works to another. It's not so much a change in physicality or a change in structure. So yes, to make this very clear, it's an interior transition. It's not an exterior transition. This isn't something where we see, okay, yes, I've changed my timeline. I've changed my job. Even if we've had those things, there's going to be a similar thread that is pulled through. Again, this is how we are feeling ourselves. This is how we are moving through our own timelines. So timeline is going to be very indicated to take a new look at. And it might be good to look at old journals or to look at old photos, especially before the moon is new. So up until September 17th, so like September 15th and 16th, if you're getting this video early, this is why you guys have got to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications, because I really try to talk about these readings, right up to the point, and it's good to get it beforehand so you can know what is coming in. But yes, you can really level up majorly on the waning side of this moon. So as the moon is in Leo, waning towards the new moon in Virgo, what an incredible time to heal ego problems. What an incredible time to release this starving or insatiable need to climb or to overdo or to overbear or to overstate certain aspects of your life. So yeah, for some people it's looking like an ego death. Okay, this new moon, and by the time this new moon comes in, some of us just have to be like, okay, this is who I am, this is where I am, this is what I represent, and that means this, or that doesn't mean this, or that. It's like simple solutions, simple conclusions drawn from the reality that we've lived. Now, I do feel a pretty strong subset of us who are kind of seeing the reality that we're weaving, and we're seeing the daily idea and the proof in the pudding of what we've created. We're seeing the results, okay? And some of us are like, I'm not sure if these are the results that I've wanted. I'm not sure if all of this hard work or if all of this manifestation or if all of this effort has given more than what I got. Because some of us have kind of returned. Some of us have kind of found ourselves back in a place that we might have been before we even had all of this. So there's a weird revisiting, there's a weird kind of coming back, kind of karmically re-experiencing something, perhaps with a lot more than you had before, but nonetheless still being where you were before. That's an interesting thing, and that's profound. I would listen back to that, and that's very profound. To have more, yet still be in a certain experience, just with very different status, is very profound to think about right now. And I think real for everybody to some degree. And there is a karmic lesson within that, and we have to draw that ourselves. It's not for me or anyone else to draw for you. But what does it mean to have come so far? Or what does it mean to have risen so high, or to have worked so hard on making changes, yet still be exactly who you were? Okay? Have we expected maybe for certain pursuits or certain life experiences to completely change us at an identity level? We never really shake it, we never really shake who we actually are. And that's where an ego problem really does start to manifest, when we are, really getting separate from ourselves, when we are really thinking, okay, if I get that job, if I get that position, if I get that, if I get this, if I'm like this, if people see me like that, la la la, it's like, I'll be different. I'll finally have that type of identity, and this is a time that just really shows you that, yes, there can be changes in status. There can be changes in socioeconomic background. There can be changes in relationship or types of people that you're around, but there's always going to be you, okay? And this is what we always need to operate from, is from this level of self. And knowing that regardless of circumstantial surroundings, that we are self. We are connecting to that to source energy, hopefully from wherever we are. So that's a great time of humility, and that's a great option that we're given here and now to take the pressure off a little bit, and to understand that identity is not based on socioeconomic level. Identity is not based on employment status. Identity, these are all status. So the difference between status and identity is being shown now clearly. There's a difference between identity and status, and we all need to sort of wrap our heads around this and understand that we're doing our best, and now we can actually, as we start to differentiate between these things, we can actually really start to build our identity and light our identity, or frame our identity with a status or with a circumstance that is best. And everything can kind of line up in our favor if we are looking towards that in a way that is favorable and is based in identity and not in ego or status, okay? It's kind of complicated, I know, but these are all very clear results that this new moon in Virgo is trying to ignite in us. Okay, so the last thing I want to touch on briefly with this new moon is I'm feeling a bit of an emotional switch as well. Again, this is the Virgo-Pisces axis, which deals with the emotional in relationship to the mundane. So we're all kind of looking at these two aspects, maybe even this crossroads of the emotional path or the mundane path. What is the emotional basis of my current output? What is the emotional correlation between my purpose and my life right now? Am I feeling emotionally connected to my purpose? It's a great type of question to be asking now, because I'm kind of feeling like the universe is not taking a lot of goals or a lot of paths that don't have emotional purpose behind them. And it's an appropriate sense of emotional purpose. This isn't just being emotional for no reason. This is very utilitarian and economical in a way as well. It's like the appropriate or needed amount of emotion to fuel a certain path or to fuel a certain purpose, but that is not overwhelming to the point that it becomes messy or that it becomes just about the emotional experience of it. So yeah, we're really in this sort of Virgoan way, fine-tuning precisely the emotional aspect of our current journey. So yeah, for those of us who are being a bit over emotional, we might really start to see that now. For those of us who are feeling a bit gray zoned or numbed out from emotion, we're really going to start to see that now. And I think that it's just going to become really clear. I think that, what we are devoting a lot of our energy to, what we think is for us, or what we think our destiny is. There are things about destiny and things about emotional purpose in correlation to destiny really coming to the forefront of consciousness right now as this high flying Capricorn energy, this huge apex of potential, prepares to move direct, and the Virgoan energy is just conscious enough, just middle ground enough, energy of 6, to actually let us get our hands in it, to actually let us start molding, as if we were sculpting, or as if we were really actually having a creative control over what our path is looking like. So great amounts of autonomy actually coming in now. And we might not feel it yet, but I'm really thinking that this new moon in Virgo reawakens a degree of autonomy, or it reawakens a degree of understanding that, maybe this career, or maybe this person, or this relationship that I've not been able to get over, or this series of status experiences of life are not as much sculpting my future as my consciousness and as my actual capability in this present moment. So Virgo is a very present-oriented sign. It's not too past-oriented and it's not too future-oriented. It's the energy of 6, which is halfway through, halfway to 12. It's a middle ground. If you're at the crossroads, Virgo is just showing you that they usually lead back to the same place. So with this new moon here, we emotionally we actually can not really trick ourselves up too much or get too drunk on purpose, because some people are getting quite drunk on power, drunk on purpose, or drunk on poverty, drunk on fear, drunk on, anything that's extreme, anything that either direction is, over the top. And I think there's an emotional purge on the other side of that too. So you might be seeing a lot of imagery, or you might be seeing a lot of things that are really like evoking an emotional response, because we had that full moon in Pisces on September 2nd, and it's like it really just echoed throughout this entire cycle and getting us to the new moon in Virgo. And for some of us, especially right before the new moon, as the first primary degrees of Virgo moon come in, I'm feeling an emotional purge for a lot of people. So some of us are just going to cry it out. Some of us are just going, we need to do something productive. Maybe we need to be running, doing exercise, or we need to channel energy physically if we can in a safe way. Because I am actually feeling accidents for some people, and you might have already seen it. It might have already happened by the time you've listened to this video. Nothing crazy, nothing intense, but I'm talking like annoying things, like pulling a muscle, or, stubbing your toe or something. Like Virgo is not usually like horrible, dangerous accidents, but it can be like kind of mundane, annoying things, cutting your finger while chopping vegetables or something, if your emotions are all over the place, okay? If there's like a very strong erratic sense of anything but center, okay? Because Virgo is like the penultimate center, there is an accident indication. We have Mars having gone retrograde. We have Pluto moving to station, okay? We have, and they're square, not by exact angle, but by sign. And as Jupiter and Saturn are stationary and moving towards direct, there's just sort of a time of being like boundless or clumsy or half asleep, half awake. So yeah, definitely when you're getting in your vehicle to drive, bring yourself to the present moment if you can. Definitely when you're thinking, okay, it's 2 a.m. and I want to walk, 10 blocks to this store, think twice. There's a need to definitely be very sober and very smart, because there are like some present dangers, but it's not like, law of attraction exists. We forge our own destiny. We create our own reality, things like that, of course. But Virgo is just kind of here to remind us that common sense and, resolution of emotional erraticism, okay, is key and is really healing of all right now. So I'm going to end on that note. Definitely meditating on the idea of resolving emotional erraticism is the key to coming through this new moon with like the true purest catalyst toward a path that is in most harmony with what your soul is really wanting, okay? Keeping sober, keeping 7 to 9 hours of sleep, no more, no less, if you can. As little stimulant or depressant, coffee, medication, whatever, as you can. Because reality is important. All this earth energy, if we're not in reality, again, it's kind of like we get woken up, or we get weird reality checks or sharp things, or, like we're bumping into things, or we're, twisting an ankle, or anything along those lines, if we're not like here and now. So the universe will wake us up now if we've been asleep all year. So great time to wake up, great time to enjoy sobriety, great time to enjoy the passage of a day, and to find beauty in new ways. The material of your clothing, enjoying that, the material of your sheets, the material of what is around you, and the texture of things, and just mundane things. This is what Virgo is about, and the new moon is going to really reward people who can enjoy those types of things and who can find the vibration and find the empowerment of them. Very small stuff, but very important, more important than a lot of people realize. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed this impromptu chat on the new moon in Virgo happening on September 17th, 2020. And I'm going to link some videos below. In the description box, I will link the Last Moments video. I'll link the Discernment video. And I'll even link the rejection is protection video, which is an older one, and maybe some transit videos too, if you guys want to just, really dive into some other content. I have other links as well, which are just ways to support the channel. You can hit the subscribe button and like this video. Those are the best ways. And leave a comment as well. Your feedback is really the most important. There's also a join button where you can support the channel if you like too. So that's a great way to get a little bit of fun bonus stuff and just support the channel. And anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I will be talking to you soon. Much love. Enjoy this new moon. Bye.